All right, so we pulled bell pepper from our index card. Here we are in the galley, and it's 1,000 degrees back here, and we're gonna start getting everything ready for these bell peppers. We'll start by slicing the bell peppers, of course. So you got some orange bell pepper here, you got your red bell pepper, yellow, and green. So nice assortment. Traditionally, a lot of times they just slice the top off these guys, stuff it that way, but I think we're gonna mix it up a little bit, and we're gonna cut them sideways. These already been washed, so you don't have to worry about that. We're gonna leave the stem on just because it looks pretty cool. So slice these guys in half. I like leaving the stem, it looks cool. Just get most of this seed out. Gets a little bitter when it gets cooked. After we get these guys going right here, we'll start chopping up all the ingredients for inside. We'll put a little tiny bit of olive oil on these guys just to kind of lube them up a little bit, keep them fresh. Let's see, we got our olive oil right here. Just a little shot of that. Get these guys incorporated a little bit. There you go. There's your bell peppers. First step. Start with a couple jalapenos. Same thing. We're gonna cut most of this out. Don't have to be too crazy about it. It does go bitter though. Some people don't care, they leave it in. You wanna go pretty fine on the jalapeno. It can get hot. So you wanna spread that heat evenly through the dish. So chopping this is pretty fine. It's, I think, pretty important myself. Some people like it, you know, these stuffings a little more chunky, but it's personal preference. But something that resonates through the dish maybe should be chopped a little finer. So we don't have all day, so we're not gonna spend too much time on this. There's your jalapeno. We're gonna move on. We're gonna use some cauliflower today instead of rice. Just a little bit kind of firmer texture, a little bit. You don't have to worry about it cooking all the way through. We'll rice it real quick and add that basically as our rice element. All right, so we're gonna add some mushrooms now. Sometimes easier to cut bigger mushrooms than these little tiny ones sometimes, but they're cheaper when they're completely whole. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're large. We don't use too many mushrooms, just kind of a little bit, maybe 25% of the dish, maybe even less would be mushrooms, just to kind of soak up the juices. Cauliflower does that as well. Instead of losing all those juices or becoming greasy or runny, soaks up and absorbs all of that. Works out really good. A lot of vegetables have a lot of moisture in them as well. Keeps the whole dish moist. We're gonna chop these pretty fine too. Mushroom has the texture of meat actually. The closest thing you probably could get to meat out of all produce, I guess you would say. So we'll take these guys down, a pretty good dice. Get these guys into the bowl. So we got our cauliflower, jalapeno, and mushroom in here. We're gonna go ahead and chop up an onion real fast. We've got a white one today. When we got all day, we'll just do a rough chop on this guy. Onion's got a lot of water in it. You don't want to put too much. Sometimes it'll cause it to get a little watery. Probably this whole onion will do pretty well in this mix. Pretty fine dice too. White onion is not as pungent as some of the others, so you can leave it a little chunky. It won't resonate as much as a red or a yellow onion would. Nice dice on this guy. It's actually a lot of onions, so probably won't use all of this. We can set it aside and use it for our chili later. One of the cool things about stuffed bell peppers is the leftovers. You can literally just chop them up really good, add them to a chili, and kind of easy way to use leftovers. So we'll get most of this in this mix. All right. So basically we got jalapeno, cauliflower, onion in this mix right here. And now we're gonna go ahead, add some ground beef to this. A couple pounds of ground beef to almost a whole head of cauliflower. Mix it up just a little bit. Incorporate it a little bit. And then I cooked off some chorizo earlier. Usually I like to cook off some, I'll add this just so it adds so much flavor. A little bit of this, you won't really know where the flavor's coming from. It just, there's like 30, 40 spices in chorizo. So adding a little chorizo to this will just, it's like adding all those flavors in one shot. I like to cook it, pre-cook it, because it is very greasy. So I drained a lot of the grease out and just cooked it and we cool it down. Now we're gonna add it to the raw ingredients. So we'll add most of this in here. And then give it a little mix. Sometimes we put egg in this. I'm not, doesn't have to. There's a lot of moisture in here already. It's gonna bind together pretty good. We're gonna shove it into this bell peppers. And once again, all the leftovers that we're gonna have that don't make it into the bell pepper, those are gonna become tomorrow's chili. So, works out pretty good. You don't have to worry about making just the right amount. We'll burn this all off tomorrow when we make some chili with cauliflower, ground beef, steak. We still wanna add a little bit of seasoning to it. So we've got some all-purpose Southwestern seasoning here, just onion, garlic, some chili powder, various different chilies, New Mexico, Arvol, a couple of different California chilies, a nice little blend right here, and salt, of course. We'll go ahead and dump this guy in. A little bit more mixing, and we're gonna shove it inside of these bell peppers and move on. We don't have all day here. Let's get this going. It should be pretty much ready to go now. All right, so we got our station cleaned up here and ready for the next step, which is filling these bad boys up with this stuffing. So once again, pretty simple stuffing. We went with typically a lot of times just traditionally stuffed bell peppers. A lot of times had ground beef, onion, and rice. But I'm a big fan of cauliflower. Kind of has the same texture. Kind of mimics a lot of the other flavors around it. Really absorbs it. Kind of like rice does too, but I think it's a little bit easier on your system than rice. A little easier to digest, and it's really good for you. I mean, cauliflower is considered a superfood, so incorporating it every way I can on a daily basis is what we try to do. So let's get busy here. We're just gonna get a nice little handful, nothing too crazy, and just shove these guys full. Can't really mess this up. I mean, we're in big trouble. We can't get this step right. Nice little pack. It will shrink up a little bit, so we can try to shove it down in there. Overfill it just a touch, and they will be ready for the oven, where we'll hit them with probably do about 350 degrees for maybe about 25 minutes. Check them after that point. We'll make all the recipe available afterwards. Right now, just kind of packing it in, and there we go. All stuffed up. We're ready for the oven. All right, so sometimes it only takes about 15-20 minutes on this high heat. Get this guy browned out a little bit. Just get some color on the meat. You see that carrots are cooking down a little bit. Onions have already gone away. We'll splash a little more seasoning in there, right back with our onion, garlic, chili powder mix. If you want some of these exact measurements, we'll have them after the show. Check into it. Not even a bad idea. Maybe splash another shot of olive oil in there, get it real nice and hot. I'm just gonna throw in the rest of this chorizo too. I mean, why not? There's a little bit of grease right here. We're just gonna toss all this in here, whatever. It's all gonna go into the same thing. So just a couple more seconds on this guy, and then we're gonna almost burn it. I mean, literally almost, you wanna do that right there. You see that right there? That's the basis for your stock right there. And our sauce later is gonna have, all that's gonna come into play with the richness and the thickness of our sauce. That's what's gonna happen in the end because of that caramelization and that cooking down of that will definitely affect the sauce in the end, and it'll be a richer broth than something you could buy in a box where it's mostly just salt and water. So it's not that big a deal. I mean, it probably costs like $1 to make this, and you could probably make a couple gallons of stock. You could put half, you put half that away and use it another day. Make it soup or something like that. So if you do get a chance to make some, make a lot. You know, it's easy. Okay, I mean, that's good to go. I mean, you can see a lot going on there. Get it nice and hot as you can. And then we're gonna get this boiling water that's already going here and just basically pour it right on top. Deglaze that pan. It's gonna pull all that right off the bottom. And I mean, that already looks like just an amazing stock right there. We're gonna let this boil for a little bit, strain it out, and we'll have some stock ready for the sauce and for some chili later and for everything. All right, we're back here. It is still hotter than hell. And no, we're not in Hell's Kitchen. We're at Bastard's Canteen in Temecula, California, and working on these bell peppers still. So we're gonna get another guy going here. We'll slice this guy up real quick. I'm just gonna cut this guy in half. I don't even care about this stem. I'm gonna leave it. Looks cool, I think, after it gets all roasted. Just leave it all there. Pull out those seeds and then the insides a little bit, just so they get they don't go bitter on you. We got a few more here. Toss them in here and get rolling right here. Let's see. Maybe douse it with just a tiny bit of olive oil on these guys. Just a shot. We don't need much. Just a tiny bit of sprinkle. That way you can just say you just did it. Make a big difference, actually. All right, flip them over. We got this mix that you guys saw earlier. There's some cauliflower, cooked chorizo, which I like to do to get all that grease out of there. You know, you don't want it too greasy. A little greasy's all right, not too greasy. I'm gonna throw a couple eggs. It was onion, once again, onion, cauliflower, chorizo, and hamburger, and some seasonings. So, you know, if you want to measure all that, it's fine. Just throw it together. We don't have time for all that. If you want the exact ingredients, you can go on the website and pick that up. So, just gonna mix this up. Egg makes it a little bit more juicy. Shove these guys in here. Try to get it down as much as possible. Make a mess. It's all good. Just get it in there. We don't got all day. You know, I'm sure the kids are getting off school pretty soon here. You want this for dinner, so just, it's all gonna be good. Shove it in. It'll all work out. It's gonna look beautiful in the end. Don't even worry about it. You got nothing to worry about. Comes out of the oven, you're gonna throw some cheese on it. Forget about it. All right, this is ready for the oven. That's where we're going next. We've got some pots boiling right here, some water, ready for our stock when we're ready for it. We got some beans soaking right here that we put in earlier, and we're gonna get this guy nice and hot right here. Tiny bit of this chorizo grease. Just the fun. Then we're gonna toss all these Holy Trinity, celery, carrot, onion, or the French call it mirepoix, whatever you want to call it. We also got a nice little blend right here. Southwest seasonings, New Mexico chili, Arval chili, salt, pepper, cumin, all that good stuff. So we're gonna toss some of that in there. Get that going pretty good. Try to get some color on that. Crank this guy up high as it goes. Get it going. We got our beef bones right here. Super cheap to get. Sometimes they even give them away. Get this, toss them in there with your celery, carrot, and onion. Let that guy cook down for a little bit. We got our oven cranked real high at 350 right now. We're gonna slide these guys in there. I'll probably let them sit at 350 for probably 10-15 minutes and then turn it down to about 325 for the rest of the time. All right, I got my oil nice and hot right here. I'm gonna toss these chilies in there. Kind of releases the oils. Just kind of gets the whole process of the chili going. Has you know, it's actually nice to smoke these. You can smoke these before you put. You can smoke all the vegetables actually. Put them in a smoker. I like just to cook them for a little bit. Onions in there with it. Just kind of work them all together. Got a little bit of color on here. Got these guys working. We're gonna put these canned chipotles in there. It acts as a deglaze too, so it pulls all the flavoring off the bottom. I don't really want too much of this adobo sauce. I mainly want the chilies, so we're gonna put the chilies in there. Garlic and onion. Going just a little bit right here. Got a beef base going that we did earlier. And some boiled water here. It's going to boil down for a little bit and come back to it, throw it in the blender, add a little cream to it. Alright, well the bell peppers are finally in the oven and cranking away, ready to pull out any second. There's the beans that are done too. So we're just gonna whip this salsa roja up real fast. It's cooled down enough to handle it now. Get this guy strained real quick. A little bit of garlic powder in here. You do what you want. Everybody does that. Cumin. Just a little bit. Whip it up. All right, here we are with the bell peppers are out of the oven. The beans are here, ready to go too. We can take it right here, cover with our sauce, call it a day here. So, start with our beans. Basic pinto bean, nothing special with it. But boil it, salt, onion, some other spices. Nothing special. Keep it super, super simple. One place we went crazy was with that sauce. We got 3 amigos right here.